Yeah, definitely. And I think I want to come on to data in a bit, but I think when you talk about the influence of procurement within the different parts of the organisation and touching different parts of the business, I think procurement's an interesting and very strategic, has a kind of strategic fulcrum within the business, like a kind of, it's pivotal because of the information that's going through procurement. I mean, it depends how well that information is captured, but you've got information on what's happening within the organisation.
Yeah.
What your organisation thinks of your supply chain. You've also got the information coming in from your supply chain as to how they're interacting with the organisation and their views of what's happening within your organisation, as well as on, from their own point of view, what they're doing. So, and I think just in terms of where you can capture the relevant amount of data, it's a very powerful position in terms of you're at this.
But you've got to use it, haven't you? Because then that's why a lot of people in procurement get into that whole boring. I want a seat at the table, we should have a seat at the table. And even COVID, lots of people kind of went through, well, it's never been a better time to work in procurement, which I don't disagree, because obviously supply chains became critical at that time, but it's what you do within that. And I think all the things you're saying are exactly right, yet there are countless procurement organisations out there that are not set up very well, that aren't doing those things. And I think it all comes back to that whole where you're positioned, what's the messaging you're selling, how are we driving that value, and what does that look like, and trying to move away from this, I'm a policeman and I'm going to stop you doing things, because that's just not the world we live in anymore. There's a relevant need to have some controls, but those controls need to be proportional and they need to be based on what the needs of this specific organisation. But yeah, I mean, I think the way you described it is exactly the way that you would want a procurement organisation to work, in that you are fully ingrained in everything from a stakeholder point of view, and then you're managing that supplier ecosystem and you're joining the dots together to say, this is what the business needs are, this is what the supply chain can offer, and this is what that happy marriage between the two, and actually how do we then drive more value from that.